Lurkers. I
Hello,
see all you lurkers.
hello, YouTube. Welcome to the pre-show DZR podcast.
How do you spell YouTube in British English? Is it? I bet they add like three extra E's.
They probably do. It's like Youtoube or something.
Or U is YOOO.
Yeah, ye old YouTube.
TOOB. Dot BRIT.
Yes, yeah, exactly. All right, man. Well, it's only two of us tonight, so I don't feel the need to do extensive sound checking. This should be pretty easy. Let me hear you.
Hey, my hair looks better than yours tonight.
I think. I don't know about all that. Let's
I
see.
had some Dominican food today. Very good.
No kidding. All right. Get a right. Should talk to me.
Mm-hmm. Yes. What? I'm excited to be on the show tonight. I'm going to have more excitement in my voice in about 2 seconds, but it'll be good.
Airtime.
Airtime.
Solo airtime that you've been looking for.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, building my growing internet celebrity
Yes.
of five Facebook friends.
Got to build that brand, buddy.
Mhm.
Got to build the brand. Trying to
Sticky
check me.
Sticky Bandit.
Man in the house. Check it. All right. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm okay. I think you're okay. Let's just go for it.
Let's do it.
What is this episode?
I think 19. I can check real quick.
Yeah. Check real quick for me.
Episode 13 was 2 months ago.
So what?
It is 19.
19. No kidding. All right.
I know, right? That's a long time. It's 4.5 months.
Two lonely souls on a Sunday night.
Hey, hey.
Who's texting me? Somebody, whoever it is, needs to stop.
Discord is invading.
Yeah, here we go. 18?
19.
19. Oh, man. I have had a few drinks tonight, by the way.
It can't be. I mean, I love Golden. Last week,
Whew, my man was.
I had to.
He just knew he was angry.
Oh my gosh, I felt so bad. Pretzel was making. There was one point where it was hilarious because Pretzel was in the middle of an awesome point, and then Golden was like, "Oh, I hate Ubisoft." It's like, okay, he's fantastic.
Rein it in, buddy. All right, here we go. Welcome to DZR, episode 18, I think.
19.
19, episode 19 of the Dark Zone Report. I'm Dan Thrax. I'm your host for the evening. We have a very special show tonight. My levels are way too low. Hold on. Let's do this
I enjoyed that intro way too much.
again. All right, hold on. Where am I? Why am I so low? Let's go. Come on, people. Boosted to friggin' 12. Check 1, 2. Check. Check 1, 2. All right, that's me there. Let me hear you.
Check 1 2. Welcome to DZR, episode 19.
Repeat.
Uh, am it on your side or are you?
Yeah.
I'll probably be talking at this level.
Which level?
Right about here, I'll be talking about the gear sets and high value targets, and how I'm so excited for 1.2.
Okay. All right, we'll record them now. Welcome to DZR episode blah blah. Go ahead, give me something towards the top end of the volume you're going to be at.
I'm just really excited about see how my eyebrows raised when I said that. It's because I'm trying to show excitement through my eyebrows. Sometimes when I have them, yeah. This is actually going on YouTube.
Live. Welcome to DZR episode 18 of the Dark. 18?
That would be 19.
Episode 19 of the Dark Report. I'm Dan Thrax. I'm your host for tonight. We have a very special show this evening. We had some scheduling difficulties with the crew, and so it's actually just me and Hoagie. What's going on, Hoag?
Yo, what's up, Dan Thrax? How are you?
Doing well, man. This is a very special brother edition, brothers only edition of the Dark Zone Report. As many of you know, Hoagie is actually my younger brother. Last joined us on episode. When's the last show you were on, man?
Probably 3 ago, so maybe 16, somewhere around there.
16, episode 16 of the Dark Zone Report. Hoagie was with us, dispensing his knowledge of, I believe we were talking about skills.
Yeah, overall skill, all sorts of fun things. It was great.
Yeah, it was a good show, and you got rave reviews by people that
don't know me.
What a good podcast sounds like. Well, welcome back, man. It's good to have you with us. With me, I guess it's just me. But so there's 2 of us here. So this could be a little different than typical Dark Zone Report episode, but I think will be insightful and entertaining nonetheless. So without any further ado, let's get going. A little show news before we get started. There's not much to say. Biggest thing, we talk about it every week, and we're going to talk about it again here, is adjust my mic here. Look at me. Probably the biggest thing going on in the DZR universe right now is that the Discord continues to grow and continues to pop. Listen, if you are not in the Discord where people and play with, the Discord is the place you need to be. We are over 300 members now, and a bunch of active. What is it? What's the number?
349.
349. So we're closing in on 350, and really just great. We had a bunch of active members there. A bunch of people, particularly in this week's in the week here leading up to 1.2. It's been very active, and a lot of people helping each other out and playing through things. And so, as we've talked about in the past, if you are looking for a supportive community and a great, lot of fun just to hang out and talk and chat, the Discord is where you want to be. So you can get to it by going to www.darkzonereport.com. Look under the community tab, and you can find the Discord there. As well, we haven't talked about it in a couple weeks, but if you'd like to support the show, you can go and check out our various T-shirts that we have, original fan art, Division-inspired T-shirts at www.darkzonereport.com/store. That'll take you to see all the lovely wares that we have. All the proceeds from the sale of those T-shirts go to support the show and cover our costs. So enough of that. We did have a little bit of fan mail this week, and if you'd like to be a part of the show, listener mail I should say, if you'd like to be a part of the show, then you can email us at dzrmailbag@gmail.com. And let's see who we had here. Oh, actually, you know what? We didn't have any new emails this week. So, if you'd like to be a part of the show, email us at dzrmailbag@gmail.com, and we will try and get you in. I've also gotten word, this is a late-breaking story, that Golden Boy may be joining us at some point in this podcast. So if he happens to jump on, we will obviously just incorporate him in. Otherwise, me and Hoagie are going to press on ahead to give you the informative and entertaining show that you all tune in to DZR each week to hear. So, Hoagie, how you doing, man? How was your weekend?
Good. I had some wonderful Dominican food this afternoon, which it's Sunday while we're recording. Never had Dominican food before. It was great. Some nice roast pork and some beans. I like food, so it's kind of a big deal. And then I grilled some steaks this afternoon too. So it was like an all-around wonderful day of food and deliciousness.
Oh, that's a good eating weekend, man.
Oh yeah, man.
What now? So Dominican food, and I'm trying to think if I've had it. So what was it? You said it was like pork. Was it like a?
Well, they started out with some, some red rice. I don't know what they put in it, and then some black beans on top that were just been cooked and super soft and super delicious. And then they
Yep.
had this kind of, it was almost like a braised cabbage, but not soft, and so it was kind of just really flavorful and delicious. And then I had some just slow braised roasted pork and some slow braised roasted beef with all sorts of spices. Not too spicy, just a little kick, and just tons and tons and tons of flavors. Lots of onions, lots of garlicky flavors, and it was awesome. I'm totally going back there soon. In the next few weeks, it was awesome, really really good.
Roasted pork or like a braised pork or what?
I think this one was roasted and just fall off the bone, just kind of the texture that pulled pork gets. You
Yeah.
just it was like that, but it was so so good.
Oh, that sounds awesome. So the
It was.
official cuisine of the week for the DZR podcast is Dominican.
Mm,
Place to try it out. It's funny, man. I've been laughing because in our Discord, typically, the conversations revolve around a few things, and one of the main ones is food. So I hope you took a couple of pictures
I did.
of that.
I didn't take them of lunch. I was meeting with some people, and so I didn't want to just pull out my phone and look like a total noob. But
Yeah.
I took some pictures of the steak, so I'll share them later. They turned out really good. Some grass-fed beef from our mom's cattle, actually. Our mom raised cattle, so we get some, and it's delicious.
Yeah, it's like one of those it's become one of those family traditions. My mom has some land and raises cattle, and then she will typically butcher the cattle, and we'll all get like a freezer full of steaks and ground beef and
Awesome.
different meat. And it actually, it's funny. You really can. I don't know. I can taste the difference. I really, it's always great when you get that cooler full of meat
Absolutely.
from the mom. But in any case, so, hey, there's a little bit of news, and depending on when Danthrax actually gets around to editing this podcast, 1.2, the update, will either have just come out or will be coming out the day after. Usually I get the podcast out on Tuesdays. On the off chance that I get it out tomorrow, which is not likely, on Monday, then this will be a pre-release podcast. Otherwise, it'll be post-release. I think all the things we're going to talk about are going to be relevant anyway, but yeah, 1.2 is coming and it's coming fast, and certainly I think a really good timing. I think we're all kind of hurting for some new content.
I agree. I've been this last week before the state of the game. I was for about a week. I was like, okay, I don't love the DZ. I mean, I'm at level like 38 or something like that. It just was ended up being a time where I run around. I get killed once in a while, get some loot that I don't need, and try and grind for hours of DZ credits that I'm never going to hit the 250 mark. So I had been doing some challenge mode and some dailies, but kind of getting a little slow. And so I'm excited for 1.2. Clear Sky looks awesome, and I'm excited. So I'm still not sure if I'm going to get into the DZ, but I'm excited for this next update.
Well, and you tend to play a good amount solo, right? I mean, not necessarily on purpose, but I think you end up rolling solo a good amount of the time. Is that right?
At least the hard mode dailies, and I'll jump together a group on challenging. Sometimes from the Discord, sometimes not. When I've done the incursion, I've only actually done Falcon Lost maybe 2 or 3 times, and that was all from Discord people. I just don't love Falcon Lost. It's kind of I can't be in the pit for that long. It just it doesn't. It's not that fun for me. And so the second time I went through, I got my fourth piece of Tactician's Authority gear, and I said, "Great, I'll see you later." And so I do a lot of challenge modes. I do a lot of hard modes, just trying to get. Yo, Golden.
Yo. Uh, I was gonna try. I'm trying to. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, man, gotcha. We are actually in the middle of the show. Golden Boy jumping in.
Are you kidding me? Are you dead in the middle of it?
No, we started. We're about 9 minutes in. Well,
Okay. All
welcome to
right.
the program, brother. I didn't know if you were going to make it, man. So I figured, we'll just get started. And
All right. Well, I was gonna try and do it on my laptop. I thought I had Google Hangouts, but it's going straight to my iPad. So whatever. Here, I'll figure it out. Hold on, give me a second. All right, let's go.
All right, so let's do this. If I get a sound check from, yeah, that's fine. If I could get a sound check from Holden and then from Josh.
Whoa!
In your normal
Yes?
speaker, if you
No?
could.
Was that good? No? Yeah. Dan, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. Go ahead, Hoagie.
Hey, we're back. Golden's here. This is exciting. I really like that purple behind you, Golden. It's
Thank you.
nice.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Matches your eyes.
This is going to be my little room until Ava is old enough, I guess, to sleep in her crib. So right now, it is mine.
That's awesome. That's her name. I haven't heard her name yet.
Ava Elizabeth, yes.
Cool.
All right, let's see if I can get this right.
Hold on, guys. Hold on.
Is it just us three tonight?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. Hold on. I'm trying to get the levels right, so if you guys could just give me a second.
Take your time.
Listen back to what we just recorded.
Hold on.
Okay, I think levels are good. Golden, or Josh, I think, do you have a chat application open, Josh?
I just opened it.
What the heck am I hearing? I'm hearing a chat from somewhere, like a message prompt from somewhere.
I think I heard that from you before, because I heard it when it was just us two.
Really?
Yeah. Do you have Google Chat on or something like that?
I don't know. Okay, well, we'll see how it goes. All right, cool. So what I'll do, Golden, I will actually, I'll actually pretend like I just introed you, and then I'll insert it later.
Okay, that's fine.
The YouTube guys will know that you weren't here at the beginning, but no one else.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will. It's okay. It's all right.
So I'll
I
just
apologize.
The mystery man.
and then we'll go to you, and then we'll cut out, and we'll jump into where we were in the conversation.
Okay, all right. Was there any show notes or anything?
No.
Okay. Oh, come on, Dan.
Well, no, Dan. We're talking about update. We'll talk about incursion, new loot drops, and new gear sets.
Okay. Well, look. Let me grab my phone so I can look up 2.1, 1.2 patches. Notes real quick, right?
Yep. Grab one.
Yep.
It was almost a brother-only show, but
That's
fortunately, it's come to rescue the audience from our droning on.
Yeah, I just heard it again.
I don't know what that is.
It's not from me.
You sure?
Positive. I don't have anything open.
All right. Let's see. Hopefully that does it. I closed my other stuff. This night is getting later. I wonder if it's the well, no, it can't be.
What are you saying?
I don't know. I'm saying this is going to be really late. No, no.
What time do you get up for work tomorrow?
I need to sleep. I don't know, 6. Not that early.
I was up till 2 o'clock the other night on Thursday night.
Yeah.
That was a little late.
There's a late.
It's like, oh, yeah, and the next night it's like, oh, yeah, honey, I'll go to bed with you. And I'm just, like, exhausted, so I'm like, this is fantastic. So I literally need to sleep, and I get the brownie points.
I'd love to go to sleep at 9 o'clock. Where's Golden? Golden, come back to us.
The golden man enters.
Here's glass coming. I heard.
All right, sir. Fire away. Let's get this
I
done.
heard your glass before you got here.
You heard what?
Like a bell on a cat. I heard the ice in the glass.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. When I say get my phone, I mean refresh my drink.
All right. And I'm just hopeful that we can get through this whole episode without any porn noise from Golden. They were back last episode.
Were they? What was that? I think last week might have been a bad week for me. I think it might have been. I think I might have had a rough week. I think I was burnt out on games. My job actually wanted me to work. My girlfriend, she's just as usual, Laura. So, yeah, I think last week was.
This is live on the internet. She might be.
She'll be fine. She's probably watching, actually. She'll walk in here in the door and just throw something at me here pretty soon.
That could happen.
Yes, it can.
All right, actually, you know what? Let's start the show over because we've got everybody now. And just sleep.
Let's do it.
Welcome to DZR, episode 18. Is it 18?
19.
Episode 19.
Oh, even 19. Oh, that's...
We are closing in on 20. It's very exciting. I'm Dan Thrax. I'm your host. Here tonight with a couple of my favorite people. First up, Golden Boy. What's going on, Golden?
How are you, sir? It's good to see you. Didn't really... My phone was dead for a couple of days, so I didn't get a chance to catch up with you guys, man. It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, it's funny how like a couple of days is basically like 1,000 messages.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's not exaggeration at all. Anything could happen.
Anything could happen, and you wouldn't even know. Hey, next to him, we've got my kid brother, Hoagie. What's going on, Hoagie?
Yo, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well. Nice to have you back on the show. I guess this is the first time you've been on since when?
It's a few times ago, 16 or 15, something like that. I don't know exactly. It's been a little bit.
You were on for the critically acclaimed Skill Power show, if I remember.
It was fun. I realized I was a little uptight and a little, but I'm gonna be trying to be less boring this time, and a little more excited.
Boy, are we excited to be doing the show today.
1.2 is coming out.
There you go. Some practice. How's everybody's weekend? Hoagie, how was your weekend, man?
Nice, chill. The weather up here is awesome. I'm in Western New York, and so the weather is awesome. It was like 60, 68, 70 here today. Had some ate lunch outside with had some Dominican food this afternoon. Oh my gosh, so good. And then it was some roasted pork and some roasted beef and some delicious rice. It was awesome. Really, really good.
That's what's up. They did like the black beans too on that, or?
Yeah, I had black beans on it, and the roasted pork it had very much the texture of like a pulled pork, but just tons of spices and onions, and it was awesome.
Oh, that sounds great.
Definitely going back there.
Yeah, for sure. What was it, like a little spot you found, or?
Yeah, somebody I work with recommended it, and I had a meeting this afternoon that I was taking some people out to lunch, and said the places that we actually wanted to go to. We wanted to go to a Thai place, and it was closed for like they either got broken into or like there was a mouse infestation, one of the two.
Man. Either way,
whatever. Delicious food. There might be mice in it. And so there's this place next door, and I was like, heck, let's just go there and walk in, and it just smells amazing. So I knew it was going to be a good lunch.
That's when you know, man, when you walk in and the aroma just like you just
hit you in the face, just slap you.
Food before you even start eating it. That's how you know. Yeah, and I actually, Golden, how was your weekend, man?
Good, good. I mean, I worked, which is, whatever. But, other than that, you know what though? This week was just hell. So I'm glad it's over. Glad to be here. Yeah, whatever.
Well, I'm hopeful you're in better spirits this week, man. Last week, I have to say,
That's what I hear. Like, what?
a little depressed, a little despondent.
You know what though? I think it was. To be honest with you, I honestly think, and I want to go ahead and put this out there. There is a thing as game overload. When you got so much on your plate, and playing games is it's what I do. I love doing it. It's a blast, but there is a limit, and I think I reached it last week.
Yeah, it's fun, man. It was so funny last week because I knew between the combination of last week we're getting on the podcast. Golden texted me about 10 minutes before, and obviously you can't tell in a text what the tone is, but the way I interpret it was like, oh man, I don't know if I can do this week. You can't bail on us, man. Come on, you got to get on the show. I think it was a combination of, what was it? Was it Jameson last week, brother?
Mm-hmm. No, it was tequila. It was tequila. It was tequila night.
It was tequila. So I think it was a combination of tequila and gamer fatigue. But it was like it was weeks where I would ask Golden a question and he would respond with a completely unrelated rant.
It's been a while since that. Actually, I think it was the third episode or something like that where you were asking me questions and I wasn't even answering them. I was just commenting on irrelevant things.
Yeah. Good times. I remember that was the one that I edited, and then I sent you guys all a nasty text message.
That's right. We got That's right. That's the one we got yelled at. That's right.
Came out.
That was.
Yeah. Drop the hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool, man. I had a good weekend. We had, I was celebrating my 11th wedding anniversary.
Congratulations, man.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, which was pretty cool. We had a good time. Went out to a nice restaurant by us. I had a lovely combination of scallops and andouille sausage, which was nice.
Ooh, that's a something. That's good.
Bechamel sauce. It was good, man.
Ah, nice.
I like a perfectly done scallop is, nice sear on it.
Sear on the top.
Yeah.
Nice and tender in the middle.
You don't need a knife. You just rest the fork on the side.
Oh, man.
With
some risotto. With a risotto. That's
yeah, they did like andouille sausage, and then there was like a braised green with it. I don't know what the green was.
Collards or kale.
Could have been collards. I don't know. Welcome to the DZR Gourmet Hour.
We're branching out, everyone. We're expanding. We're broadening our horizons.
The DFZ, deep fried zone.
Welcome to the deep fried resort.
I like it.
Oh,
resort.
Deep fried
risotto.
Like
deep fried risotto balls. Yeah, all right.
Sounds like you need to go see a doctor.
Yeah, you do not want the risotto balls.
No.
Got to get antibiotics. Hey guys, there's a little something happening. I don't know if I've already happened by the time this podcast drops, or it'll be just getting ready to happen. 1.2 is coming into the wild. You guys excited?
I'm very excited.
Yeah, definitely.
It's going to be good. We're going to take this show, actually, and this will be a couple weeks now that we've kind of departed from our plan of going through all the skills, but it's worth it at this point. We've got some really big news, a lot of info dropped this week. And so we're just going to get right into it. Now, a couple of things. I think the main things that have me excited about the update, we'll work through. I guess the first is we've got an addition, a pretty substantial addition to the Dark Zone. Two of them, actually. One, we've got the new 200-plus bracket that's coming out with enemies scaling from 32 up to 34 elites, which with corresponding really solid loot, it looks like. And we're going to talk about where the various loot is going to drop later in the show. But, so a 200-plus bracket, which I think is a great thing. The whole Dark Zone will be, it's kind of be like that thing, once you hit 30, where basically the whole Dark Zone kind of turns over into a completely new place. In this case, with the 200-plus gear level occupied by some pretty challenging baddies. And the other thing is we've got the cut the rope thing, which I don't know. Did you guys see some of the video? I mean, I know they talked about it on they had the special report this week and they actually showed it. Dude, it looked really cool, man. It's like you go out, you cut the rope, and then all of a sudden there's just loot everywhere on the ground.
I can't believe they dropped every piece of loot. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what potential of 36 pieces?
I know. It's like, even like you just like walk around, I guess, and decide. I guess you pick some things out, or you just. The problem.
Well, you're not going to have time though.
Well, that's the thing, right? Because it's going to be like everybody's going to be crashing the extraction zones, and you know, I mean, what are you going to do? Like, just kind of select. Wow, I like this, but I don't like this.
No, there would be none of that, sir.
Just look for the green piece and go for it.
Yeah, just go for the green. Although interestingly, I don't know, man. It's funny because the set pieces are still. We're going to talk about the set pieces of the show as well. Set pieces are still going to be a big part, but I'm really looking forward to those 204 weapons, man.
Me too.
I'm almost more interested in that stuff than I am in. Well, I'm interested in this. I'm interested in all of it, I guess I should say. But so the cut the rope. You guys think it's a good addition, Hoagie? What do you think?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I'll be the first to admit I'm not a big PvP player yet, but it's. I mean, I've ran it a little bit, and I know Golden is the aficionado here. But I mean, just something else for them to do. Supply drops seem like it added a lot, and then this is just going to make it even crazier. And so hopefully there's not too much griefing on people, and people have fun with it. And it seems the more interaction in that place, in that zone, the better.
Well, I like it too because, and I'll come to you for your thoughts in a second, Golden. But the thing I like about it is the strategy for the extraction zones has been. You call it in, right? You generally, you don't even necessarily stay in the area. You stay relatively close. And then you pop on, put your gear on there, and you take off, right?
Yeah.
No reason to hang out there. You just drop it on there and then get out of there. It's going to be very interesting that they're going to keep, you're going to have to maintain kind of a perimeter around the extraction points, which I think is what they were going for in the first place. But, Golden, what do you think of the whole cut the rope thing that's coming here?
Yeah, bring it on. I mean, if it's something that's going to bring another element to the PvP, I was in the impression that we were going to get an extended Dark Zone, but I was, obviously, late on the ball on that, and we're going to go into different levels, which is fine. It's something. I'm happy for it, but
you were looking for additional geography.
I need some new stuff. We've been okay. So, our team, basically our Discord team, can run these routes with our eyes closed. We've been running these routes for how long has it been out? What, 2 months, 3 months, 2 months? How long is it? How long?
Yeah, just over 2 months.
Okay, so we've been running routes for 2 months, and it's fun. It's great. We're going to get more loot. We're going to get this stuff, but we need another element. We need more. Am I being greedy? Am I saying, hey, look, we grinded all this new stuff out as soon as it came out, and now we're bored from it, and so people are calling us, elitists that sit around and do nothing but grind and get in-game gear. But yeah, well, all I'm saying is that we like the game. We play the game. We want more content, but they're giving us content, but it's not anything that's extending the experience. Want more.
Yeah, no, and I really believe that we're going to see an expanded Dark Zone. It's going to be in the paid DLC.
It will be, absolutely. Yeah.
They've already shown DZ08 signs for it. It's out there in the world somewhere, so it's there.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, interestingly, so anything else on the Dark Zone changes, guys, before we kind of shift gears a little bit here?
No. I just want to know, Golden, I was going to ask you, I know you run the DZ3 and 4 loop. Are you, because of the drops, going to be pushing up and just spending almost all your time in 5 and 6?
All right, so right now my gear level is just a 206. because I really haven't found anything that has been, if I wanted to get up to like 215, to whatever, I could, but the gear that I have right now is 206, which, I mean, respectively kind of means nothing, but at the same time, it does. Will I be? Yeah, it's all build. It's all build. But with that being said, I think I've built, a pretty steady build with the 3 and 3. My biggest thing is the gear sets. Now, I'm not sure if I'm pretty sure we're going to go into that here in a little while. I haven't really gone into it. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, that's going to be the incentive for me, is to get the new gear sets, and I think that's going to be enough. That's going to keep me going, especially with all the games that have been coming out and will be released for the next 3 or 4 more weeks. I guess there's games coming out, so to keep me playing Division in the Dark Zone, I'm level 99. I've got all my gear sets. I've got everything. Okay, so am I going to go back to Division and play it for a week and then just be done? I've got my gear. I'm doing challenge modes. I've knocked them out, done, and then move on to another game. I don't know if Division's going to be until the next DLC is going to be able to keep, especially the grinders there.
Yeah. No, we've talked about it before. I mean, I think, the interesting aspect of it is, those of us that have set foot in a challenging incursion, 34 elites are no joke, man.
I didn't watch the stream, but from the guys I've been playing with, they've actually been talking about how they went into the pit and just was destroyed. So that's cool. That's cool. That's, but, let's look at the progression that we've had in the past. Okay, so when we first did Falcon Lost on regular hard mode, we were like, there's no way you can do this. How do you do this? This is impossible. And I think the same thing is going to happen with this. We see these really hard 34s. Within 14 days, we'll be mopping them up. It'll be fine.
Yeah. No, I think so. And we'll talk a little bit about kind of the ability to gear up, I think, is going to get a lot better. I mean, right now, you've really got 2 options, right? You grind your DZ up to the point where you've got the high-level blueprints, or, you run Falcon Lost on challenging mode, and you grind that. Those are really your 2 options for high-end gear. So I think there's going to be, and we'll talk about it in a little bit, but there's going to be a lot more options to kind of bridge that gap gear-wise and get up. But I think, I'm hoping that with the higher level difficulty that will also, I don't know for sure that they're changing where the landmarks are, but it would be nice if it wouldn't just be, harder versions of the same route that you've been running. So maybe you will have a different route to discover.
That would be...
I'd be pretty surprised if that happened right now.
I would be too. I'm going to go with that. I'd be very surprised if they switch those up.
You think it's just going to be harder versions of the same?
Yeah.
I
think so. I mean, they haven't said anything about that. They know that that's kind of out there. I think they're just saying, okay, people are going to want the better loot, and they're going to want to cut the rope, and they're going to want to go for supply drops.
And the incursion, the new incursion.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe in the DLC, when the new DZ gets out there, but still, it doesn't feel like something that they would change without a very big push from the community. They definitely listen to the community, but
them changing the map, I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily, I don't know if they're catering to level 99 DZ guys.
No,
what's the percentage of the population that are there? Not many.
I think there's a good portion of people that are 50 or over. A smaller portion I think that are 75, but and even smaller.
Plus 90, what, 10%? Maybe 10% of the.
I don't know if it's even that, to tell you the truth. 99 takes a long time.
That's crazy.
And calculate what you get from each kill. It's 99 is a huge grind, man. I got mad respect for you, Golden, for actually sticking it through and pulling that off, man. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Well, talk to some of those guys that go rogue quite often. There's You hear them, oh, you get this, but the give take on that, man. You sitting there going rogue, 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 rogue. Somebody's coming to get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have no confidence in my rogue status right now. I try to do that as little as possible.
Yeah.
Try and get in, shoot some guys, and get out. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, whether or not, the other thing is, even the kind of just random roaming mobs, if they're 34s, could pose a little more of a challenge than what we've been used to. So I'm interested to see how the Dark Zone changes. I think it's going to take me a few days to get over 200 gear score wise. I haven't done as much crafting, I think, as you have, Golden, and I'm high 190s right now, so I don't think it'll take me long. A few pieces probably.
I wonder if there's going to be more almost set pieces in the Dark Zone. You're coming up on a mob, and you're not going to just be able to run out. You're actually going to have to set up and not just do all DPS. And I don't know. It'll be interesting. Is that going to creep in? That's most of the time it's just run around, get behind cover for a second, shoot some people, and you're off running again. Are you going to have to use cover a little bit more in the DZ?
I would think, yeah.
Go ahead, Golden.
I would think you would. I mean, I think 34 is hit, really hard. All that's really going to happen is it's going to bring you back to the days when we first started. It's going to bring us back 2 months. That's really. I mean, if you look at the big picture here, that's all they're doing is taking the same exact game, making more of a bullet sponge. I don't think that it's going to change the character behavior. In fact, I know it. You know what? I'm going to say it's not. Nothing is going to change other than the fact that those ads can take on more bullets. That's it. We're just going to have to raise our DPS. I really don't see any huge changes coming, other than the gear sets.
Yeah. No, we'll talk about those in a minute. So, I guess we'll see. I'm really interested to get in there. I want to see the Dark Zone. I'm happy that they're putting an additional challenge, especially in front of guys like you, Golden, that have already appeared to that level. Obviously, we wish it was completely original content, but, like Hoagie said, to the extent that it pushes people into cover in the Dark Zone, nobody uses cover.
Not anymore. Yeah.
Right now. If it pushes people into cover and requires some kind of tactical plan in the Dark Zone, I think that would be a great addition. And I really do think that the cut the rope is going to be really interesting to see how the community responds to that in terms of whether or not people are going for it or what. I'm interested to see.
Hey, Dan, do you have any solid information on the cutting? What I know is that I know that it takes, this is just, again, what I've read. 10 seconds to cut it, which is a very long time.
Hey, Golden, I'll run it through for you.
Okay.
So it takes 6 seconds to cut the rope.
Okay.
If you're getting shot, it'll actually lower that meter. And so the idea is that you're going to probably have to clear people out of that area to cut the rope. So as soon as you initiate cut the rope, you get a 19-second rogue counter on you. So you immediately go rogue.
Okay.
If you cut the rope successfully, I think you get a 90-second timer. And so that's after that 6 seconds, it's cut, you get a 90-second timer. And yeah. So there's no like, hey, I'm gonna cut the rope, but I don't get rogue status, and so everybody starts shooting me, and then they go rogue while I'm trying to cut their loot. You go rogue as soon as you touch the rope.
Now, does your team go rogue?
Yeah, I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. In the same way that you can't shoot somebody without, right? You take your whole crew rogue. When you do that, I'm sure it'll be exactly the same.
So what do? You send a guy in, he goes to cut it. As soon as everyone starts focusing on him, you got your other 3 team members sitting on the outside, coming in. What's the strat here?
Well, too, people aren't going to be just posting up and waiting for people to come in. Maybe they will, but there's no reason not to wait until 10 seconds left before you put your stuff on. Even if you put it on the rope, you can lose it all. If you don't and you die anyway, you lose a few pieces on the ground and you have some private stuff to come pick up later. So, I mean, why not wait till 7 seconds left and you post it up?
And my next question is how is the shock turret and the sticky bomb going to play a factor in this thing?
It'll be there.
It's going to, yeah. So, I mean, this is, it's if you really want to think, I'm just thinking scenarios in my head. These people this community it will have something, within a couple of days. And it's going to be, they're literally going to be farming it. They're going to farm it. I'm telling you, there's going to be groups farming this. So I can't wait to see what the strat is behind that.
I just hope that there's not just one strat. I think it's very easy. And then today I can go on and see the this build and this build and this build. Everybody's running around with AUGs and
AUGs and M1s, M1As,
it's just like,
M1As. Yeah.
There's so many different. There's so much of a diversity in this game. Let's get a little creative and not just run the same strategy all the time. So if there's 10 strategies. Like, that sounds awesome and fun.
Yep.
Just not one strategy is not going to be fun.
Yep.
So let's be a little creative.
The point I will make, I think if you're not running a pulse scrambler in your group right now, this will become, I really do, I think that this is going to encourage that, because to the extent that this becomes a bit of a stealth operation, right? Because like Hogue said, if you're going to know that you're under fire, you're basically just going to wait till the very last second to pop that loot on the rope. And so kind of doing this in a concealed manner, lying in wait, keeping that scrambler pulse out so that they can't pulse you, I think that's going to play a big part too, because there's definitely, I think, going to be a bit of cat and mouse at these extraction points. But it should be fun.
Here's the funny thing, Dan. That pulse scrambler takes a lot of skill points to be effective. And people aren't running lots of skill points, and so how is that going to change DPS in the build? I think if I remember, it's 76,000 skill points for a max scrambler. I could be wrong, but it's a good amount. Nobody's running that much skill power in the Dark Zone, and so again, creativity in builds and trying to not just be a DPS monster all the time. Even though I know the faster you kill them, the less they can mess with you. But I hope some of those tactics take hold, not just 250k DPS vector.
Yeah. Now, so let's jump out of the dark. Well, I guess one more thing, just to talk about in the Dark Zone. We've also got the implementation of basically another level of RNG with the sealed caches. Have you guys seen the stuff on the sealed caches?
Please enlighten me. I have not heard a thing about this.
So basically, you're going to pull out these sealed caches, which you won't. You still have to extract them, but you know what the item is until you get out and open it.
There's also DZ credit and Phoenix credits in it too.
Yep, and it'll basically roll at that point. And so
what's the drop rate? What's the not just drop rate, but what are we getting? Are we getting 204 guns? Are we getting 240 gear? What are we getting?
I don't know, Hoagie. Did you see anything on what can fall into this?
Kind of all of the above.
Okay, all right. So it's worth it.
Again, the higher rank or bracket in the DZR, and the higher you are, you're going to get better stuff in the 201 plus DZ06 than the 161 to 200 DZ01. And so it's just a better way or another way to get items and to get DZ credit and Phoenix. And so it's
about it. I think the real thing, and it's kind of brilliant because I always like to go one level deeper on this stuff. What they are really doing here is they are looking to force players to extraction points. I mean, that's what's going on, right?
With the cutting of the rope.
I mean, like in the past. You would pre-screen everything, right? Oh, I don't want that. You might not even pick it up, or you might pick it up and then flush it out of your inventory, right? Before you can get to it. With this, you're going to have something there where you have no idea what it is. knows how frequently these things are going to drop, but I think if you talk about kind of the design reason, the design choice for why this is going to be in the game, I think it's about pushing us all to the extraction points.
It's not bad.
You know, I think that's probably a big part of why they did it, and you know, again, kind of making that, and they've done it a little bit each time, right? We all knew when
the bottlenecking.
When we crossed into the level 30 Dark Zone, we started seeing a lot more spawns of NPCs at extraction zones. You know, they keep trying, and I think with this cut the rope thing, they're trying to push more and more players there. They really want the extraction of loot to be one of the most kind of exhilarating and tense moments that you have in the game, and I think this edition of the sealed caches, I think, will facilitate that, because, you know, when people hear about great stuff dropping out of those things, people are going to want to get those out.
Yeah.
You are. If I think I'm right, I think they drop only from named enemies, and also you'll know if it's a gear set item or a high end or even like a purple, because it'll be color coded. So when you get a gear set sealed cache, you'll know that it is.
You'll know the level of item that you got, just not the specifics of what it is.
At least the rarity, but you won't know if it's a 191 or a 240.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So pretty cool stuff.
Yes.
Moving out of the Dark Zone, another huge kind of implementation, and this goes back, I think, to the point that you were making, Golden, about, hey, we have basically been running nothing but Dark Zone loop, or Dark Zone loops here, is the addition of the search and destroy missions and the high value targets. Ogie, you've got some stuff on that, right? You want to just kind of go through what's going on there and what's going to be happening?
It just as an overview, those who don't know. Basically, it's a way that they're reinvigorating the PvE world. If you're like me, I go in and I log in. I'm right in front of my boo, and I say, okay, what's hard dailies? What's challenge dailies? I fast travel right there, and I'm never not fast traveling between my my missions. Well, this basically you're going to be they're going to give you targets. Mobs that you need to go find and kill all throughout all the different sectors, and once you kill those, you'll go back to Hold on, I'll break it down. Each sector has encounters and side missions. Once those are clear, then you'll be able to have these search and destroy missions. You'll go into your that safe house. You'll get some search and destroy. I think there's 3 of them. Once you clear those, you'll go back to your safe house and you'll complete it and get more what they call intel points. And so basically, it's a way to travel around the world in the different zones and see the world and kill mobs and get gear for it.
Yeah, and then so once you get the so let's talk about this real quick. So this kind of seek and destroy piece. Now it's very important. They made a big point, and it's been, if you've kind of been looking at any of the division-related content that's out there, everybody is reminding us all that to get these search and destroy missions, it's going to be based on district, and to activate, basically the missions for a single district, you need to have cleared all of the side missions and all of the encounters.
Correct.
So that means your virus-free encounters that you have avoided doing.
Oh, for a good reason.
Now? Oh, you got to go back and do them. It's actually all I've been doing. I haven't had much time to play, but when I had, let me go out and clear encounters and side missions and things. And you think you're done, and then a side mission opens up into like 4 other side missions. It's funny though, because I realized, so when I went through, I did what I needed to do to get to level 30, and then I jumped right into kind of end game type activities. There's a good bit of story that I've actually been, it's funny, I go back and I've really been enjoying kind of clearing out the last bits of these and getting all these kind of side stories and, things that when I first was kind of on my race to 30 and even just clearing the boo, I left some things undone. And so, I don't know, some people were complaining about like, oh, why are they making us go and finish all this stuff? I'm glad they did, because you got to experience all of the stuff. But yeah, so once you go and actually, you got to make sure you clear things out. Now, the whole right side of my map right now is clear. So as I speak of this, I've got another day left as we're recording this to kind of get everything done before 1.2 drops. And I think I'll be able to get it done. My whole right side is clear, so all of my kind of LMB, Riker level stuff should all pop. I've still got some more stuff to do on the left side, but once that's done, like Hoagie was saying, you're going to get these missions. You're going to go out. You're going to collect these intel tokens, which will unlock these kind of high-value targets in the boo.
Yeah.
Do you have more on that, Hoagie, in terms of how that's
I do.
going? Go ahead.
Two new NPCs will, after 1.2, will be in your security wing. So you go on your boot to the right, and once you go through those doors, right to the right, you'll see two NPCs. One will be called weekly goals or weekly, I forget exactly the word, weekly targets, and daily targets. And so you'll have both weekly ones that reset, obviously weekly, and ones that reset every day. Now the weekly ones are the ones that are going to give you gear set items. And here, I'll run through the different loot. So for a weekly, you have a chance of a 204 high-end drop or a 214 gear set, and a chance at a 240 piece of gear. And then that's the highest level. There's a high-risk target, and that will give you the best loot. And then there's a...
Let's stop real quick on the high-risk target. Now, the thing about the high-risk target, you get one shot.
One shot.
I
feel an
it's the bounty thing.
going on.
It's the bounty thing.
Yeah, it's a bounty thing, and it's like you literally, so you're going to have saved up, right? You're going to have worked through and gotten all these security tokens or these intel tokens, and you're going to go and you're going to see that, and your eyes are going to get real big, right? Spend 15 or 18 intel tokens, you're going to go out and you're going to be like, oh, I'm just going to go out and, I got my AUG, let me go out and solo this guy and just out. If you fail, that's it, right?
That's it. You got to go buy it again.
And also, it's going to be a lot more than 15 or 18. It's going to be more like 60. The high-risk targets for the weekly are about 60 tokens.
60 tokens. And
that's if my calculation is right, it's probably going to be an hour and a half or so of search and destroy missions to get that. So that's it's not a crazy amount, but for somebody like me who gets about 8 hours or 10 hours a week, that's a good chunk of my playing time.
Yeah. Moral of the story: do those as a group.
You can't solo them. Yeah. Yep.
Until we get a feel for how we can solo them and whatever. I'm sure there's going to be ways, as our more powerful, we'll be able to do it. But until we get a real feel for what it's going to take, man, just take a group. And if you don't have a group, go to the DZR Discord. You will find people running them nonstop, I am sure. So those are the high value weeklies. What else you got on the dailies? It's basically the same thing, right? It's just some of them.
It's the same idea. It's just that they cost less, and so probably anywhere between 5 and 15 intel tokens. And what they give out is they have a 182 high end or a 214 gear set. So that's still pretty good. Getting a 214 gear set is an upgrade for me. And then you also have a chance for a 191 gear set also. So you're not going to get. If you're doing the high risk target for the weekly, you have a chance to get the very best loot in the game. Now it's only once a week. It's not every single day, but it's still that's another way to get good gear and not through crafting, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, really, it's when you think about it, it's going to take a good amount of time to grind out those intel tokens, but we're talking about a shot at kind of explore. Number one, and everybody's talked about it. It's great that they're bringing back the non-Dark Zone kind of world, this beautiful world.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Interesting world, kind of back into relevance in the game, and they're doing with NPCs as well, not whole encounters, right? And so they're going to have the flexibility from week to week to kind of move them around and do different things and put you in different spots, which I think is great. But then, one of the huge themes of all the stuff that Massive put out this week was generosity, and I love the way they had one of the developers, I think was French, and the way he would say it just made me feel warm.
Generosity.
Whatever.
Oh.
I can't do a good. I can't.
Let me get some of that. Oh. Get
Wonderful. If there's noises again, golden.
I'm a very whatever. But I just want to say, when he said generosity, it made me tingle. I'm not gonna lie.
There it is.
But anyway, I think it's great that now we've got an activity that conceivably could be done solo, right? We don't know yet. We'll have to see how these bosses are. But we've conceivably got an actual legitimate solo activity that could yield the best gear in the game, which
It's awesome.
I think is awesome. I think it's great.
Now there's a bunch of mechanics that you don't really know yet. If I go in and buy a target, they told us we're going to have to group up. Are all 4 of the people or all of the 3 of the people have to have the same number of intel tokens? Can we pitch in? Can I just tag along? There's all sorts of things of detail.
Can we farm it?
Out. But in the end, we know that grind, search, and destroy missions, and you have a chance for the best loot in the game. And I think that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Now, Golden, I want to ask you, is something like this interesting, or are you just going to be in the DZ for the most of the time anyway?
Both. I think what's going to happen is as soon as we get a map of where these bosses are, and because from what I understand, I think there's going to be random bosses throughout the map of the PvE.
You go to the safe house, and then they'll give you targets. And so it'll pop up basically 3 little mini encounters, and you run there exactly where they are, and you kill them.
Can I farm them? Can I get more intel points to farm them, and where do I get intel points from?
You get intel points from completing those little search and destroy missions. And then by going back to the safe house to say, basically check in with the NPC and said, hey, I did those.
That's grind. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you're basically doing a PvE grind now.
Yeah. So exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I would.
He's all about the grind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love the grind, and I think like you said, it'll be interesting to see how the mechanics work in terms of instance, right? And
exactly.
Will it be like the situation it is now, where if you kill a boss, right, but then restart a mission. I'm thinking of the story missions. You might kill the boss again, but you're not going to get a second drop. I mean, right. I don't know. Work. Yeah. I would. That's. But the other thing that might happen.
What about if your leader, the team leader in the incursion hasn't done his weekly yet? Does everybody get 240s?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. And I mean, people are going to test all of that stuff to see if this is farm. Mm-hmm. The kind of real obvious farm is maybe this is the thing that finally pushes us into wanting multiple characters.
Yeah.
Very great job. Yeah, absolutely.
There hasn't been enough yet for me, and one part of it's probably just been that my playtime's been a little restricted over the past month or so. But to want to go ahead and level us, I think, on alt. But this could be the thing that you've got this consistent flow of gear that could move people more and more in that direction. Hey, Hoagie, while we're on this, why don't you just go ahead, if you've got the loot table in front of you, and just kind of run through. Let's look at the activities that we have in the game right now. So hard dailies, challenging dailies, hard and challenging incursions, and then this new activity that they're laying in, as well as what's going to be happening in the Dark Zone. And tell us where. So where can we get 240 gear?
Okay. 240 gear, you can get it from the challenge mode incursion. You have a guaranteed 240 gear set piece when you do finish that. And also you have a anytime. That's not just a weekly, once a week. You have the weekly reward, which is 1, and then anytime you finish it, you're going to get a 240 piece of gear set. That's pretty awesome. And where else can you get? You can get 240 gear sets in DZ05 and 06, even as an under 200 player. You can get 240 gear sets as a plus 200 in the plus 200 bracket in the Dark Zone in any of the DZs. So DZ01 all the way to DZ06, you can get 240 gear drops. That's pretty crazy. You can't get any 240 gear sets from supply drops in the lower bracket. In the 200 plus, you can get them in any supply drops that you see on your map. And so that's all the different places. So again, generosity is definitely a word I see. I mean, you can roll in and get lots of gear sets, just not as just weekly rewards, but also doing Dark Zone and farming hard or challenge mode incursions.
Okay, so with that being said, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Dan, but so even if we're over 200 and we're going into the DZ and we're going to So okay, so let's look at it from this point. What's going to be the fastest way to get the most loot and the best loot? And it still sounds like it's DZ.
Oh, absolutely. It's DZ 05
Well, then I'm not.
06 as
Well,
opposed.
then no. I won't be in PvE.
Hmm.
Why?
Well, interestingly, what I believe is going to happen is that your chances of dropping certain gear is going
Name
to
gear. Yeah. Okay.
in certain locations. So you might be chasing a particular gear set or something.
Yeah.
It's going to push you to certain activities. From what I understand, there's not exclusives in terms of where stuff can drop necessarily, but there are going to be places where the loot table definitely favors, one piece of
That gear set.
over the other. Right, exactly. And so it's
Right.
going to push you in those directions. So you'll have reasons. And really, look, the reality is you're 99, man. So
Yeah.
somebody comes on and wants to kind of, do some high-value targets, I think you'll take the variety.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Provided it's rewarding. So, and let's actually talk real quick about. I want to get through a couple more things here before we bounce out of here. And one of the things I want to talk about is the gear sets. So, I'm just going to go right through. We had 4 new gear sets premiere, and we'll just go right through them, and then we'll talk about. I'll go through them first, and then we'll come back to them, and then I'd like to kind of talk about how some of these might integrate with kind of our existing gear sets. So here we go. The first is Final Measure, which, all of these are structured the same way. There's a 2-set or a 2-piece bonus, a 3-piece bonus, and a 4-piece bonus. On the Final Measure, the 2-piece bonus is 50% exotic damage resilience. The 3-piece is 15% protection from elites. And then the 4-piece is when damaging a hostile with a grenade, gain the diffuse buff, which is basically when in
the
range,
grenade.
hostile grenade. And also we know that this will also work with, for instance, in Falcon Lost, the turret bombs and missiles that they fire, mortars that they fire at you. When in range of a hostile grenade, the buff is consumed and diffuses the grenade as well as gives you a grenade. We'll come back to this real quick, but that one's really interesting. The next is Lone Star. Next is Hunter's Faith, which essentially will give you a 20% buff on marksman rifle critical hit damage. That's the 2-piece bonus. The 3-piece bonus is a 20% damage to elites. And the 4-piece bonus is hitting an enemy with a bullet grants you a temporary armor. The further your shot, the more the armor. And the armor disappears after 1 bullet hits you. That's the 4-piece. The next piece of gear next gear set is Lone Star. The 2-set bonus is going to be 100% bonus on ammo capacity. The 3-piece, this is a wild set. We're going to talk about this one. The 3-piece is 1,000 LMG damage and 1,000 shotgun damage. And the 4-piece is when the weapon is holstered, it regains full ammo. So we'll come back. The last gear set is Predator's Mark. The 2-piece bonus is 20% optimal range. The 3-piece bonus is 800 assault rifle damage and 700 pistol damage. And the 4-piece set is hit 10 shots without switching targets to make the target bleed for 100% of damage already done by those bullets. An interesting clarification in the actual streams, they said that this was essentially your last shot. So the damage dealt by your last shot would be inflicted as bleed. Let's go back and just talk through these on their own merit, and then we'll talk about how they could work in combination with some of our existing gear sets. The first, Final Measure, really interesting. I think that this is the first, we'll see how it works, but this is the first kind of real gear set that we've seen that is designed to tank. I think that's what they're going for. A 50% exotic damage resilience, 15% protection from elites, and this idea of being able to diffuse grenades. What do you guys think of this? This is an interesting mechanic. We haven't seen anything like this. Man, that would come in handy. Now, you have to have damaged something with a grenade for this in.
Which I think is the. You only have 5 grenades. I know you get a grenade back, but I don't know. It's just maybe I'm thinking of it in the wrong context. It's you basically have to be spamming grenades, and that doesn't feel like a very good place to be in the meta right now. Where I could have my sniper rifle out or my my gun, doing a whole lot more damage, and just moving to get out of the way of the grenades. So I don't know.
I'm not going to take away from the set. I think that there will be people that will be able to incorporate the set into their playstyles. We had a guy, Pretzel, that was doing a tank build and just could not get anywhere with it, really, because DPS was always king. Whether or not this is the ultimate tank build, I don't see it, man. I really don't see it, but there could be a way. I mean, 15% protection from elites and 50% exotic damage. I mean, that's you got to think about it. Let's look at the new incursion. We don't know the mechanics of that, but let's look at the old one. With the shock turrets and with the grenades that they throw in there, maybe there's a build. I can't take that away from, what they will probably do with it. But for me, I'm not interested.
That 15% on protection from elites feels very small to me. It's
Yeah.
like that. If that was 30 or 35 or, maybe it's 40. 40 seems a little high. 30 or 35 seems like it's something I would build towards that would actually make a difference.
You could get to that 35. My protection from elites right now, I think, is sitting somewhere at 15. So
Yeah.
if you were building on that and you got to what you said, 40, that's a build. That's a something.
That's true, but you're tapping in the whole other idea is that RNG is awful in this game, and you're talking about a long-term, days and days worth of playing to get to that, and that's not the majority of players. So I just think it's a little overpowered or underpowered if they really want this to be a serious tank build.
Well, but I think this. I don't think this is necessarily going to inspire someone to all of a sudden, hey, I'm going to build a tank build. I think what this is, and a couple things I really like about this, but one, that 15% for someone that has been trying to build as a tank, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They've already got high HP. They've got their armor capped. They're spec'd towards maxing out their resistance from elites, protection from elites. And so this is a way for them to, maybe this helps put them over the top. The thing I would really applaud them for on this grenade diffusion kind of mechanic is really interesting, unique, creative.
I agree.
It's not even something that I even thought of. When we're playing the incursions, I didn't even think of, oh, wow, it would be really cool to be able to diffuse these grenades. But in certain situations, that would be really helpful, especially being a diffused mortars. And, the one kind of concern you have here is are you going to be able to proc it enough trying to damage mobs with grenades? I don't know. We'll have to see. And again, we haven't seen the new incursion. So, are we going to have a lot of people that are hanging in specific zones where you can actually kind of readily get them with grenades? I don't know. We'll see. But it's interesting. I just don't know. I mean, like I said, I really applaud that 4-set bonus because it's really unique, really interesting. That feels like an RPG kind of thing, right? The question's going to be, can you proc it enough to have it actually kind of change the course? But I applaud it, man. It's a unique kind of way. It feels like they're trying to give us a tank, so I'm happy that something is moving in that direction. The next one here, Hunter's Faith. So we talked about it. This is the sniper. This is one for the snipers. 20% marksman rifle critical hit damage. This is the 2-set bonus. Love that. 20% damage to elites is the 3-set bonus. Love that. And then this one, really interesting. Hitting an enemy with a bullet grants you temporary armor, and the further your shot, the more the armor disappears after a bullet hits you. So it's basically a kind of a, just a single-use shield. I don't know what you guys think. I like the sound. I like the sound of the set, man. I don't know if I'll roll the whole 4, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but this is a really interesting, this feels like this one is the glass cannon, right? I mean, that's what they're doing here. We're going to give you some really powerful ways to increase your damage, and these will likely be additive rather than multiplicative. We'll have to see. But in any case, if you're talking about elites, right, we're talking about incursions, we're talking about endgame content, here's a quick way to kind of really beef up your damage. And by the way, if you really are playing that glass cannon and you've rolled high DPS and you're engaging targets at a big distance, we're actually going to give you a bit of a shield here in the off chance that somebody shoots you, or you get shot by an enemy or something like that. Again, this feels like a kind of a real role-specific gear set. And I like it. What do you guys think?
Well, for me, I've already pretty much, I'm either going to go 3 Sentry and 3 Hunters or 3 Striker and 3 Hunters. This is going to be the set that I'm going to go for first. I will be going for the definitely the Marksman Rifle crit hit and the damage to elites, because once you get into that 34 and that DZ up there, that's going to be nothing but elites. And if you've got some damage on that, plus you get the armor back, plus if I could get some striker stuff rolling with that or some sentry, I don't know the math, I haven't, and I'm literally just speaking off of what I just saw just now, and I'm looking through all 4 sets as we're speaking, and my build is going to be either Hunter, Sentry, or Hunter Striker. So,
yeah. Hoagie, you like it?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. Again, creative. I'm really interested. When I saw the set, the first thing I thought is, what are the numbers behind it with the distance? Because you hear about some of the even the talents for the weapons. I forget what the talent is, but it's if you shoot something over 40 meters, you get a certain buff, and then you realize most of the people that you're hitting are 15 meters away. And even with a sniper rifle, what's the longest shot that you're taking in the game? It's probably in the Lexington challenge mode, or in an incursion from the pit into one of the catwalks. That's probably 25 meters or so. And so, what are the numbers behind this ammo boost? Is it start at 20? It's like you're not going to use it that much. If it starts at 10 and gives you 40% extra damage, or 25 meters away gives you 50% extra armor, that's a big deal. I think the thing I'm thinking is the distances in the game going to let you do something like this? Because for the most part, the missions as of right now don't, because they're so small.
Yeah, that could make the whole gear set irrelevant. Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree. I absolutely.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see. Keep in mind that we have yet to see the final stage of the incursion. And again, if this comes out on Tuesday, people will have seen it. But we know it's in a circle, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So is the distance going to be...
do you have to be able to complete outside, and you have to get them when they're coming out?
Sitting up on the bus. We saw the video of the incursion that was out.
I will say, probably one of the I was watching the video the other day, and I saw where there was a sniper up on the right side of the street before they got in the main circle, and he was taking some long shots, probably some of the longest in the game. So if that's going to play in, I think it's definitely something that could work well, as long as the distances that they're asking us to shoot are not longer than the effectiveness of the rifle, and so hopefully that's the case. I think it's a great set, and again, pushing towards some of those more classes, or whatever class that you want to build. I think this is a great one.
I'll agree. All right, the next one, Lone Star. This one is really interesting, man.
Yeah.
100% ammo capacity is the 2 set. 1,000 LMG damage and 1,000 shotgun damage is the 3 set. And when the weapon is holstered, it regains full ammo is the 4 set. This one, guys, I am hoping that this will finally bring, and with more drops, I am really hoping for a 204 shotgun. I've talked about it many times on the show. I want to be able to roll with shotgun or shotguns, and have it make a difference. This set, guys, 100% ammo capacity, right, which may be useful even for if you're not running a shotgun build and you're going to do one of these kind of combo builds, doubling up the ammo capacity. Interesting. Obviously, they're telling us what weapons they anticipate us using with this part, to LMGs and shotguns. And nice to see the LMG get some love as well, by the way. But then when the weapon is holstered, it regains full ammo. That is
awesome.
Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. You'll never have to reload, is the gist, right? You proc that 4-set, and essentially, let's say you're running 2 LMGs, right? You'll be able to just empty your mag, switch to your other weapon, empty the mag, switch to the other weapon, empty the mag. You won't have to reload. Unreal, right? Really unreal. And if you're going to run with, I mean, I would think, you know, obviously I don't know that you're going to want to run this set if you're running different weapons than the ones, but I mean, maybe, you know, where you can just kind of get into a no reload situation. I mean, can you imagine that with 2 AUGs?
Yeah, because that's what you could do. You could run because you have, you know, we know that, you know, the submachine guns share the same ammo, even if they're different guns. But now, like you said, 100% ammo capacity, that is something that makes it viable.
Yeah, pretty cool. And with shotguns too, man. I mean, you know, the additional ammo capacity, which is going to help, right? Because we know shotguns. One of the things that plagues a lot of the shotguns is the kind of low mag size and the forever reload time. And you know, like I said, if we're going to be seeing more dropping at the 204 level, and we've got a damage buff here, will this set make a shotgun build viable? Man, I hope so.
We're going to go into the next thing in a second, but I'm sitting here going back and forth, and I'm looking at the at those perks, and then we're going to go into Predator's mark here in a second. 20% optimal range, along with the shotgun damage.
That's a great point.
All right, I'm sorry. My bad. I was going through them. I'm so sorry.
Man. That's the next. Could this be the next coming of Fellwinter's Lie? Or
yes. You know, look at this.
I want to add one more thing to Lone Star before we move on. I'm still not sure that LMGs are still going to be viable, even with the Jammers boost, because they just shoot so slow in most cases. If I have an awesome M60, I have 200 rounds. That's great, but unless I have to suppress, I'm still not going to be able to do as much damage as I'm going to be able to do with my marks. An AUG or my marksman rifle. So I'm still not sure about LMGs. I love the potential for the shotguns, though.
Well, and I think the problem with the LMG, honestly, is that the stability on those things makes the ranges where you have to scale all your encounters. It pushes them almost into submachine gun range.
Exactly. And
just use the submachine.
Just and plus you get the crit damage on that too. So SMGs are just a no-brainer until the weapon balance. Again, the weapon balance is not going to happen for at least another 2 weeks, maybe 3.
Yeah. No, we'll see. I think they'll get some time with a bunch of new weapons getting out there in the wild, hopefully with the more generous drops and see what happens. But I love seeing the LMG get some love, man.
I agree.
Yes. That was my build. I wanted that build. That's the build I wanted. I just couldn't make it work, man.
And you know, just the idea of running with two Cassidys or two, you know, but running with a couple double-barreled shotguns, right? Can you imagine? You got a 204 double-barrel sawed off at your sidearm.
Oh man!
Conceivably run with 3 shotguns and have just a whole lot of fun melting faces. Predator's Mark is the last one. 20% optimal range, 800 assault rifle damage, and 700 pistol damage. And then hit 10 shots without switching target to make the target bleed. It basically doubles up the damage of the 10th shot. So, you know, this is an interesting one. I want to see it.
Yeah. How does it actually work?
That's a hell of a bullet sponge right there, man.
Yeah. I mean, how does it actually work? You know, and you think about this kind of 10th shot, right? And landing 10 subsequent shots without switching targets, very conceivable thing to do with an AR, right? Particularly with higher level targets. You know, it seems like they're trying, if this is the AR set, they're trying to push out the range a little bit, which makes essentially be giving, cutting off some of the damage fall off. That's kind of keeping things, maybe the assault rifles start to push a little bit into marksman rifle territory. But this idea of you essentially have a huge DPS burst. What happens? And again, like, how does it work? What happens if you crit? What if you get a headshot crit on that 10th shot? You know what I mean? Are you going to really get double that amount? This is interesting for that reason, and particularly if, what if you're using an M1A and look, the way the M1A fires, you can get 10 shots.
100%. Yep.
On a target, and if your last shot is a headshot crit for 700,000, 800,000 damage, depending on what other people are, how's the Sentry's Call going to play into this? Will a target that's marked, is it really going to tag onto the fully buffed kind of end number that the user sees and double it? It's really interesting.
But you're not going to get 10 consecutive shots on that target, because if you're doing that much damage, he's going to be dead by that time.
Hopefully.
Like, how many times have you put 10 marksman rifle shots into a target?
We're going to be, 34s. We're going to be dealing with 34s. So, yeah.
34s, and it's not headshots. I mean, if you're hitting, even with an M1A, if you're not reliably hitting your headshots and you're body shotting, it can take mag on some of these high end guys. So
we can't overlook too that it actually has a status effect of bleed, which I think is a big deal too. We haven't really used status effects a lot. Most people haven't. We have the shock, which people use. Burn is so, but actually focusing on the bleed. I mean, there's a talent. What is it? I forget what it's called.
So I have actually on my M1A. I rolled it the other day. I finally got a good roll. So it would do 12% of my shots would put a bleed status on it, and I was doing the incursion yesterday, and I was shooting them, and I was like, it does stagger them. It does make them kind of, go out of whack for a second, but you're shooting them so fast that bleed, you've killed them before that bleed status effect really even does anything. I was seeing like $4,000 pop up, maybe $5,000 pop up, and it would pop up, 4 or 5 times. So let's just say at the max, we're talking $20,000. Well, not when you're critting at 700,000. That's completely irrelevant from the damage you're already doing.
The one good thing, though, is that there's actually a character talent that you can have in one of your 4 slots, and it actually does, if you make a character bleed, enemies within 10 meters will also bleed. And so that's something that we might see people do.
So an AoE. That's an AoE. Wow.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
So we'll see. Again, creative builds, creative.
Yes.
I mean, it's a great set. It's really cool.
Yep.
I'm hoping it pushes more assault rifles and, people getting creative with what they're doing.
But, I mean, we're sitting here, we're talking about gear sets and everything, but let's be honest, though. I don't know the math, but looking at it, SMGs still would have the upper hand because...
For now.
Yes. Because, I mean, even if you put a striker set on, and you put, a Sentry, even if you want to go into, some of the new stuff that's coming out, is DPS still going to be king? And from what I'm looking at and from what I'm seeing, DPS is still king.
It's interesting because I agree with you that DPS is king, but I think the one place where I will differ is, that's great. You've got 300,000 DPS. You're going into an incursion, you still want somebody that has 26,000 skill power to pulse.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I think, and the Dark Zone's a little different, but if we're talking about the PvE stuff, man, I hear you. I mean, the role of DPS is still up there, and I think a lot of it, I think Marco really nailed this in his video a while ago now, but where he talked about it's just too hard to build, the builds that you want with all the substats and everything else. But I'll say this, man, I think that there is certainly a meta. If you look at people that are looking for people to run incursions with, right, there is always a 25,000 skill guy in that mix because you need the pulse.
You do.
Pulse, reduced. So I think it's one of those things where, DPS is still the sexiest part of this game, but I really feel like, people are certainly understanding that you want some other things. Let me ask you guys this. So if we look at what we have now, let's just talk about a few ways this might synergize with what we're seeing. I think the obvious one here for me is if you look at, and I'm going to, final measure, I don't know, to tell you the truth, that final measure, I'm thinking about what it would really kind of correspond with. The Nomad gear set doesn't get much love because it's almost the signature talent, or the main talent on the 4 set is almost like a signature skill, right? I mean, really, the 3 set health on kill, it's a waste to use a 3 set for that. So Nomad, I think, is the one that it might apply to, but not very well. Final measure, I really think, is kind of breaking new ground in terms of really trying to be a tank set. But if we look at Hunter's Faith, all right, 20% marksman critical hit damage, and you've got the 20% damage to elites. That's your 3 set, all right? You want to layer that with, if you look at some of the other 3 sets that are available, all right? If you were to layer that with Striker's battle gear, for instance, do a 3-and-3 of Strikers and the Hunter's Faith, which is the new set, you'd be looking at 20% armor damage, 100% critical hit damage from the Striker, with the 20% marksman critical hit damage and the 20% damage to elites.
That's a big number.
That is a big old number, man, especially if you're rolling with a
Pulse or smart cover.
With a Pulse, smart cover, somebody's running booster shot, and you've got an M44 out.
I mean,
you're right. Dump truck.
Definitely hit two
Dump
million
trucking,
on that.
dude. Dump trucking.
Yeah, that's
2 million crit.
It's
dropping them.
It's a big number.
About it. If you go sentries, if you were to do a 3-and-3 with the 2 kind of what were supposed to be sniper builds with sentries, you'd be looking at a 30% headshot damage from sentries for the 2 set, the 20% damage to elites from the 3 set.
Stacked onto the wow.
Stacked onto another 20 for the 3 set on the hunters, and a 20% critical hit damage. And really, it's funny because we talk about these things in isolation, right? We talk about these things in terms. One of the things we know about Sentry's Call is that you're not going to be able to get 3 quick headshots with a submachine gun and proc that, right? It's not going to key off of submachine gun shots, but I believe it will still key off of AR shots. And
no,
so
it has to be semi-auto.
Oh, is it semi? Okay, so yeah, but there's some semi-automatic ARs out there, and there's some semi-automatic submachine guns as well. But I think that what that's kind of telling you is, if you think about team builds, right? I think running the 4 set on sentries is still going to be valuable.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yep.
But once that target's marked, you think about some of the damage you'd be able to do. It's really just, it's ridiculous.
It's really interesting to see how this is. I mean, with some of this stuff coming out, are challenge mode incursions going to be viable for the majority of the population? Because right now, it's not. I haven't tried one. I know people that have spent tons of time in the game, and it's still difficult. Is this, with some of this stuff coming in, with higher, the better 204 weapons that we're going to be getting, hopefully, am I going to be able to run a challenge mode incursion in the next 3 weeks? I hope so.
The answer to your question is absolutely. I think with the drops that are going to be in the DZ, and I think that is the progressions they want. I think that the other incursion's been out for a while, challenge mode's been out, so now they're going to put another one out, but they're not upping the level on it, but they're giving us better guns, and I think they're even talking about buffing guns. They say I'm balancing, but they're going to buff the guns. So I think what we're looking at here is, within the next 3 weeks, pretty much everyone, not on the same level, but I think people running both incursions, couple different characters, just like how Dan said, that really, really opened up my eyes to what they're doing. I mean, I think that's exactly the route that they're going. They're going to make these things easier for us, which makes more people do it, which entails more people playing the game. And I think So I think, are we going to be farming incursions in the next 3 weeks? My prediction, yes.
Yeah, and again, I think it'll get to, the thing we don't know. We're looking at what the loot's going to be, but the thing that we still need to see, how much fun are these high value targets going to be? If they're fun, and I think they could be, right? We all enjoyed, I think back to Destiny, and where they had these public events. They had you had to jump and get certain guys, and you had to do right. We all love that, man. It's like get the crew together, let's go hunting. You know what I mean? And I think to the extent that that the challenge level is up in the Dark Zone, I think it's all going to play in. But guys, I gotta say, I'm happy with what I'm seeing in the gear sets, man. It's creativity.
Yes.
It's class specific. So.
There you go.
I love the creativity.
I'm gonna get the golf clap.
Are we doing a wave? Like, are we doing like a thing or?
I don't know, man. Last thing, guys. Let's talk about this before we go. We'd be remiss to not say that.
Hey, there's a new incursion coming out.
There's a new incursion. There's a new incursion, and so here's the thing. I actually wrote up a piece on this. It's on the Dark Zone Report. That's a shameless plug. Go ahead and check it out, darkzonereport.com, and you can see some witty banner about the new incursion. It's going to be called Operation Clear Sky. The basic story is that the Rikers, being the technological savants that they are, have captured some LMB SAM sites and have somehow configured them to fire at ground targets. But that's all right. That's okay. But in any case, and basically they are kind of, terrorizing the skies above Manhattan, and we got to go in and take them out and secure the assets, which cool story. I like the idea of the story. It fits. It's about right to Rikers, what we know about the Rikers, that they would enjoy just blowing stuff out of the air. We saw, so if you want to actually take a look at this, and again, you may already be playing the incursion by the time you listen to this podcast, but in the odd event that I actually get this out tomorrow, we saw the first half, or the first kind of intro sequence. Now, there's a couple things about this that I'll say. One, we have a legitimate intro stage here. It's not like Falcon Lost, where it's, you roll in and you got to shoot two guys and a bunch of drones, or just run past them and drop down the tunnel, right? Whichever. But we have a legitimate kind of entry stage here. It's a legitimate gear check. A power check, and it looked pretty fun. It's got similar mechanics, right? You're trying to kind of get through this blockade to get to the SAM sites, and you got to plant some C4, which we've done before. But the one thing I liked about it, looking at it, is it looks legitimately like it reminded me of like some of the boss fights in the game that I've liked, where you've got to move, you got different cover, you got guys spawning in, you got some powerful guys. They've got the added mechanic of, what it felt? It kind of felt like Warrengate to me almost, which, gets a bum rap for how we all try to do it under geared for challenge mode, and it just totally. But in terms of being an interesting boss fight, that final room where you're clearing guys and minding these valves, right, and kind of doing all that stuff at once, I think it makes for an interesting boss fight, and that's kind of what this intro sequence reminded me of, where you're having to kill guys and clear guys, and also plant explosives to try and kind of get through, and you're not sitting in a trench, right?
Yeah, that's
anything's better than what we got right now. Well,
so that's
hopefully.
We saw the first part. And, it looked cool. There's a checkpoint there, which is nice. I like that. I like the checkpoint. And then they got us in. We kind of jumped onto the top of this bus, and then they, cut to black. So the kind of real fight, I don't think we know a whole lot about. There is a lot of speculation that it is again going to be wave-based. I don't know. We'll see. Seems conceivable to me that it could be wave-based, and a great point was made. I think that there's been a lot of kind of negative feedback about the wave-based thing, and that this has likely been in development for quite a long time, and so they may not have been able to really be responsive to that. Hey, we don't want more waves, but we don't know for sure that it's wave-based. But we do know that it's in a circle. It's in Columbus Circle, which is really interesting because. I think back to a couple of kind of major boss fights that I've done in the past that have incorporated a circular kind of movement in the fight.
Skolas.
Yeah, well, Skolas is one, right? But I also think back to like certain of the Vex fights where you had to kind of move around a room and different things like that. Having circle as kind of the main stage that you're fighting on gives you some interesting design opportunities, right? Because you can have almost continual movement, but still keep it in the same place, in the same kind of general space, right? It allows for things like, I'm wondering if we're going to be like disabling SAM sites and then moving to the next, and I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what this incursion is going to be, but having the location be in a circular setting is it's kind of interesting to me. You know what I mean? And I think they're probably gonna. I'm hopeful that they're gonna use it to kind of discourage camping, and you're gonna have to move in this incursion.
That would be nice.
I'd really like to see. So, any other predictions from you guys for just proven right when the incursion?
I would love the last boss. If it's wave based, hopefully it's not 15 waves. Whatever. I would love the last boss or bosses to just be like 5 Rikers busting out of a bunker with machine guns, all 34, big jacked up guys, and having to take down a bunch of elites, spread out over the whole level. Something like that. Just something that is surprising, that's difficult, that is not too repetitive, and something that we can use the whole team and not sit in a trench. Good Lord, please don't let us sit in a trench. And just for some fun. Some team tactics,
mechanics,
more than just pulse and smart cover, and let's have some fun.
Yeah, I don't know about the mechanics, Golden. I mean, we'll see. After the last one, I'm not super optimistic that we're going to be blown away by complex mechanics, but I will take movement.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll take movement. I'll take having to switch cover. I'll take having to move around the circle. Having to move together as a team, having to call out when it's time to go, those kind of things I think would make it those kind of things alone would make it much more fun than Falcon Lost. So
anything but flamethrowers. If you bring flamethrowers,
they're gonna be there. Oh no, those are cleaners. I'm sorry.
Those flamethrowers.
I was thinking though, I actually dislike the Rikers shotgun rushers more. I like them less than the LMB because the Rikers ones are just psycho, and so that's gonna be a little crazy.
Well, and a level 34 golf club, bro.
Oh man, coming at you.
I was thinking too. I think crowd control is going to be really important in this. We don't use crowd control. I mean, flashbangs are a little used in incursions, but the flashbang, the shock turret. Even the seeker mines, we couldn't use them against the LMB because they could get hacked. I don't think Rikers hack, so the gas and even the burn on the explosive rounds. I think there's a lot of open opportunities for using different skills in this game, and so that makes me excited again because if you haven't understood by now, I'm tired of just vectors and the straight built when I go into an incursion, I want it to be unique because everybody around me is rolling different stuff, and it has to be a little bit different each time. That sounds like a lot of fun to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, we are closing in on an hour and a half.
Nice.
As always, appreciate you guys jumping on. I think we're all excited for some new content. Next week we'll have a ton of things to talk about. Golden, are you going to be playing it? What's your schedule this week?
See, I just talked to So yeah, I'll be on. When's it supposed to drop? Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Is that the
Oh man, I don't even know. I'm gonna be playing
Ish.
tonight.
Ish.
or is
Yeah.
it going to be like a morning thing? Because if it's Tuesday,
Oh, it's going to be in the morning.
no.
I think it'll be, I think they usually
Well, if
downloads
it's
start at
yeah.
like 3 or
So
6.
so I'm on Eastern time. So if it's I'm not going to take the day off. I'm not going to take the day off. I'm going to do Tuesday. I'll probably start it that day and then go straight into and so what I'm going to do is and I've kind of just now started thinking about this is I'm just going to start the Dark Zone like I just went in it for the first time. I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm going to work my way up.
Yep.
And go from there, and then figure out what's going on, and that's because that's just what I know. I know the Dark Zone. Now, as far as the encounters and all that other stuff, I'm gonna go get the bounties because I finished up all my side missions. You you guys were saying something earlier about all the encounters have to be done too.
Yeah,
Yeah, well.
for each zone. So if you have one zone that's totally clear of all side missions and encounters, it'll open up for those intel missions.
Okay, all right, okay. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to go back and take a look. I know all my side missions are done. I know I have a bunch of encounters done. I don't know if I have them all done, but I will definitely get on that.
That'll be my day, my night tomorrow.
Yeah.
I've got stuff to do. But in any case, yeah, to the extent that we are on, we'll be streaming. We'll put it out there. So if you want to watch somebody play, go check out twitch.tv/Dark Zone Report.
Somebody will be doing it. Yep.
I'm going to be on there, and if we're not on there, maybe we can host some of the community guys just to make sure that we've got footage on there if you guys are looking to watch it. Other than that, you want to follow the show, you want to kind of get in touch, you can get us on iTunes, you can get us on Twitter at Dark Zone Report. Check out the website, www.darkzonereport.com. Got some great content on there.
Oh, Gaz was just talking about one of our community guys. Was just talking about he's going to have some small articles out specifically about the incursion to go in blindfolded or to watch and figure it out beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And so go check out our website. We'll have some more content coming in for the 1.2.
Yep. Awesome. It'll be good. And as always, if you want to get involved, you want to reach out to us, check us out, dzrmailbag@gmail.com. Guys, thanks again. Thanks to everybody that listens. It's been a great show. Really looking forward to 1.2. Hopefully it doesn't suck. It'd be great. It'd be awesome. Looking forward to it. And yeah, guys, we will talk to you next week. We'll have a lot of new things to talk about, so really looking forward to that. Thanks again for listening. Be safe. And we will see you in the Dark Zone. Great show, guys.
Hey, that was fun.
Tired. Oh, man.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
It was funny. It was like 12 o'clock, and I start realizing I'm using words like 3 times in a sentence. I'm like, I need to stop talking.
Oh, I'm sitting here trying. I'm like trying to keep up with it, and I'm just I'm yawning the whole time. So yeah, man. So I think next show, I think we'll be able to bring some new content. I mean, you gotta think, guys. We're just like how running loops in the Dark Zone. I mean, we're literally just talking about stuff that's coming.